Welcome to another MW tutorial. This time we will cover the MWB01A equipment. As usual, we will go through the installation, connection, first use, preventive, as well corrective maintenance. Before we start, be sure to have the following tools: the machine cutting blade, a cutter knife, the machine custom key, an Allen driver set, and a cross screwdriver. For the first step, we will select the places to install the equipment. Be aware of leveling all corners to guarantee the performance of the final product. After unwrapping all the elements, we will have another set of aluminum parts that we will put together as an extra table for the equipment. We will loosen the screws and fit accordingly to the aluminum inner rails. After fitting at the right length, they can be tightened. At the end of the process, we will end up with a solid table frame. Afterwards, we will install the iron cover and tighten up all four corners. Check for loose parts and level before finish. Every MW equipment includes a computerized set with all the accessories, including monitor, PC, keyboard, and mouse. The equipment will come with all elements for a proper installation, so the only thing you should put in mind is to plug all parts in a correct spot. The set also includes a USB device with the needed software and hardware drivers that we will extend in depth later in the tutorial. Completed that process, we will connect the air intake, having sure to have a 4 MPa average input, and next to the air intake you will find an electric input. We will proceed to connect with 110 volts current. Then you'll find a red light turned on by the dashboard indicating the connection success. We proceed to rotate the emergency button clockwise, then press the green button. A relay sound and the inner LED light will indicate that the machine is on and ready. At the PC's home screen, we will go to the PC icon and do double click. Then we will watch for the F partition that will indicate the USB drive. We will find a series of files and we will select the CSB4V1.10. This file should be copied. Also, you can use Ctrl+C. Going back to the main panel, we will open this partition and paste the file using Ctrl+V. This will allow us to install both machine drivers and the required software. Once finished the process, we will open the folder and search for the file named MPC08V3.0.1. Giving a double click will install the driver. Just click on Next without any changes. Then the PC will restart by itself. Back to the home screen, we will go back to the PC icon and give a right click. We will go down to the last option represented with a letter R. A window with 7 labels will appear. Then we will click the third one from left to right. Then click the first option box below and we will find the equipment with a yellow alert. Right click on the item and choose the first option as detail. This will allow us to install the PC hardware card without any change on the procedure. Just click Next. At the end, the alert will disappear and the hardware will be recognized. Closing all windows and going back to the home screen, now we can access the software. Click on the PC icon again, then find the E partition and open the recent passed file. Then open the folder finishing with the letters EN. Select and copy the first file available. Go back on the window and paste that file. A window will alert some changes. Continue by pressing the option with a Y letter inside. Then go directly to the file named CBS4V1.10. Double-click it, and then your English software will show up. Put the raw material over the table to work and be sure to straighten up the first 20 centimeters that will go through the equipment. Afterwards, open the compartment and drag the material inside. Unscrew the levers and the servos to match the height of the steel. Move the steel forward for about 80 centimeters. Then readjust the levers and servos, making sure that the steel is not trapped or over-tightened. Back to the PC, go to the menu and click over the device test. Up in the menu, find the manipulator home option. Click and check that the same motions are performed by the equipment. The home point will be settled after finished. The green button will execute a test, taking it to a home point as well. The slot label where the arrow points will adjust the blade head, depth and height. When the blade slot is on the home point, we will be able to introduce the blade in a way that we can both press forward and downwards the steel. Then firmly tighten up. Under this parameters adjustment, there are just a few numbers to configure based on size, thickness, and curvature that required for the task. In this exercise, we use 300 mm height and 0.7 mm thickness steel. Be sure to add 5 more millimeters every time when the steel height is selected. The second option will indicate the cutting depth. The third and fourth option will indicate the cutting times we want to perform. Keep going down and we will find another box. These options will depend to the letter to perform. For example, if the letter angles are higher than 70 degrees, you will increase the intervals quantity with the right box. Use decimals to adjust up and down. The other box indicate the intervals depth, and in this test we will use 0.1. Last box will matches the cutting quantities explained before. You can see we also use 3. Save the changes performing the equipment code, that in this case is 0, and then click Sure to confirm. Then close the menu. Select Bend Table Craft to ensure the power used to bend the steel. All steel producers use different formulas and thickness. Down below in the video description, you will find a base model to help you guide through the bending parameters. Up to this point, we can open our first sample file. Click on the menu, then Open, and search over the USB driver and select the file named 50x50.txf. When generate your own files, be sure to export to DXF or PLT. With the file open, right-click on the black surface and click on Select Outline. This option will allow us to tell the equipment where to start the project by going to the first knot and clicking over the edge. An S square will show up. After this, go to the end of the knot and click on the edge one more time to show the end of our sample. Then go back to the black empty space and right-click again. Select Confirm. Up to this point, the machine will be ready to begin the process. Always remember to keep this option selected, otherwise the machine will only cut but will not bend. Before we start, we will perform a cut test. Go to the menu and select Device Test. Then click over Depth Adjustment Home The equipment will begin this procedure. Then use the forward button on the screen and bring the test out. Bend a couple of times before it breaks shows that the depth is correct. We will be ready for our first use. Measure the test and check that the measure fits every 5 centimeters. After a successful test, we will create a custom letter. In this case, we use custom DXF letter with a random size. Open it and then click on this zoom tool. Selecting the first option and type in the equivalent of the half of the thickness on the box. In this case, we will type 0.35, then click Sure. Back on the main screen, repeat the steps we saw minutes ago. Right-click and select Outline, then select the starting point, then select the finishing point. In this case, we will use the same anchor. Right-click again and select Confirm. Click over the green Run option. Watch the procedure. For the MW equipment preventive maintenance, we recommend oil the rails after every use. Be sure to move the servos after applying the oil. Frequently check the blade sharpness loss. The blade can be used in both sides, and MW equipment includes 2 units. At the inner space, be sure that it always stays without crumbling excess, and the screws are always stay tightened. Check daily for inconsistent sensors. Here we show you the location of each one. In case of knife accident, immediately turn off the equipment and proceed to go to the back. Open the case and remove the screws as shown. Remove the steel bar and unscrew it. And turn it around to discover a new face. Screw back again and sharpen the blade as well.